Guys, thanks for joining me today. It's Melissa with Melissa's Creations, and I have some paper pumpkin alternates that I am so excited to share with you guys. So this is the paper pumpkin that came in October's kit. It is called Season of Gratitude, and it is a shaker card with adorable sequins. I love it. I love everything about this card. It is so great. But if you're not interested in the original project that comes with this kit, let's dive into some alternates. So without further ado, let's get into the October 16 Paper Pumpkin Alternates. And here are my alternate cards. I am so excited to share these with you guys. The first one here is very simple. The only additional product I used was some Very Vanilla Cardstock. That's it. Everything else is already from the kit, and I think it turned out super cute. It's very simple, and it would be a very quick card to whip together as an alternate for this month's Paper Pumpkin. And this is our second alternate that I'll show you how to make in this video today. I love this one because it is a magic card. Isn't that fun? So awesome. Now I am going to tweak it a little bit as we go along in the video, but that is the general idea. I just love it. Magic. All right, let's go ahead and get started on these awesome alternates. So the only additional items I need to make this alternate card here is some Very Vanilla Cardstock. This is just a standard sheet, 8.5 by 11, cut at 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2. I have a little extra bit that came off of one of these cards, this piece here that came in the Paper Pumpkin kit. When I cut it to size for this is the extra piece. So I'm using that to do my words, the hello here. I have one of the leaf punch outs. I have the Cajun Craze square, and then I have the Delightful Dijon banner. So to get started on stamping our first alternate card, I'm going to take the crackle background and I'm actually going to flip it over so I have the smooth side of the stamp on top. I'm going to take my chocolate chip ink pad and I'm going to just stamp that right over my leaf so that I cover the entire thing. And then when my leaf comes off of the stamp, it is a solid color. After you clean that thoroughly, go ahead and flip it back over to the crackle side. We're going to bring in our card front, and with the crackle, I'm going to ink that up in that brown, and I'm going to lay my leaf down about where I want to center my crackle square. And then you're just going to stamp right over that leaf. Then we're going to take the leaf off of the crackle and it's going to go right there. So next I'm going to take my hello stamp and I'm going to take that little scrap of paper that we cut off of the second card and I'm going to stamp my hello kind of down in the left corner, leaving just a little bit of space on the bottom and the left side. I'm going to take my snips and I want to make sure that I get it the same width as this little square. So I'm just going to line up the bottom and the left side, hold it together, pinch it tight, turn it over, and then you'll be able to cut along that line so that you have a straight edge. Just like that. Now I'm going to move this off to the side a little bit and trim it down. So again, make sure that you have even sides on the top and bottom there. Turn it over and then do the same thing. You can trim it off. Now we have a nice rectangle shape for our sentiment. Let's build that up. So we're going to put some adhesive. You could use the adhesive that comes in the kit, which are the glue dots. That would work just fine, but I'm going to actually use some Snail since I have it out and handy. And we're just going to line up the points with the edges of the banner there. And then we're going to pop up our hello. And for that, we are just going to use some of the included foam strips. You could use your dimensionals, but the foam strips work just as well. We are also going to pop up that leaf. So I'm going to take that other third of that strip that I cut off, put that back here. And we'll pop that up right in the outline shape. I'm going to run some snail on the back of this banner. We're just going to glue that down right below it. I'm centering up the point with the point on the leaf, but you can fiddle around with it however you'd like. Now let's get some accent pieces going on here. I'm going to take the little acorn. He's so cute. I'm going to ink him up once in full ink and stamp him down. Now, because of the ridges on the paper, I am kind of gently rocking this stamp back and forth. Now, when you go to re-ink to stamp another one, we're not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to take the ink pad and I'm just going to ink from the top of the acorn to the stem. Like that. And we're going to stamp that down again. Give it a little bit of a rock, not too much. We are going to cut it out, so if you get extra little bits of ink, that's okay. And look at how cute that makes that second acorn. Okay, so now we just go ahead and fussy cut those acorns, and it's okay to leave a little bit of a border. It's not going to hurt anything. All right, now that we have those cute acorns cut out, I am going to use the included glue dots in the kit. So we'll just take one of those guys. And I'm going to put him on top of this acorn, right up under the stem there. We'll peel that backing off. And now we can add our accent acorn to the top of that. Just enough to kind of match up the stems, but cover up that glue dot, just like that. Then we'll take another glue dot, put it on the back of our acorn, again up near the stem, and peel the backing off of that. And then we can put that right on our sentiment down here. Now we are almost done with this first alternate. I'm going to grab my sequins and we're just going to scatter those around. I am loving this paper pumpkin kit. Let me know in the comments if you guys received this, and if you did, what are your thoughts? I am just really digging it. All right, we're going to take our fine tip glue pen. This is amazing. And just sprinkle a couple of dots around your card where you want to adhere a sequin. Now, while it's drying, they are going to be very fragile, so they will not dry quickly. You do want to allow a little bit of time for them to settle down, get happy with that glue. But once they're dry, they're not going anywhere. They stick very well to that glue once it's dry. And there is our first alternate. What do you guys think? Honestly, I like this better using just the chocolate chip ink. This one, I introduced a few more inks, some of the similar colors that were in here, except this is with Rich Razzleberry, which is a gorgeous color, and I think it does complement it well. And I also did the pumpkin pie back here, but I like it with just using the chocolate chip too. Tell me what you guys think. Is that gorgeous or what? And all of the supplies on here came from the kit with the exception of the card background. You could probably even use the craft paper background that came with the kit on this card and do a complete opposite using only the supplies in the kit. Again, I did use the glue pen as well as some snail adhesive, so I do recommend using some of the supplies to make it easier on yourself. However, you could do this with just the included supplies. You could use the glue dots to adhere the sequins as well as the banner to the back. Okay, so now let's get into the magic card. I love this card so much. I think it is so fun, and the only additional supplies you need are maybe a few inks as well as some pieces of Very Vanilla Cardstock. That's it. So let's go ahead and get started on this fun magic card. So here are the supplies we're going to need on this card. I have my craft base that came in the kit. I have one of those cards with the punch out leaves. I have a piece of the window sheet that comes in this month's kit, one of the labels, and I have two pieces of Very Vanilla Cardstock that are cut to measure 1 3/4 by 5 3/8. So the first thing I want to do is stamp my background. I'm taking that cute acorn stamp with the chocolate chip ink. And I want to make my background a little lighter than my original. So I'm going to stamp it off as I stamp it on my outline. And I'm going to go on the top and the bottom. You're not really going to see the middle too much, so I'm not going to worry about the middle section, just the top and the bottom. Okay, so with the card base done, let's move on to our window sheet. So on the window sheet, I am going to use the crackle stamp. So let's get that mounted. And I'm going to bring in some additional colors. So for this, I'm going to use my Pumpkin Pie, Delightful Dijon, and Cajun Craze, because these are still the colors that correspond with the colors in the kit. So I'm going to take my Delightful Dijon first and ink that up with the crackle stamp. And I'm going to stamp that right down on that window sheet. Now stamp straight down and straight up. It's going to be very inky. Try not to touch it or else it will smear. So we're just going to let that hang out and get happy for a minute while we do the other two colors. All right, I've put that window sheet onto the inside of my card so that I can sprinkle it with some clear embossing powder. And then when you're done, you can just put the powder back in the pot. Now I'm going to take my heat tool and I'm going to warm it up. And we're going to grab that piece again and carefully, trying to pick it up without ruining our design, I'm going to move this around quite a bit because I want to make sure that it doesn't melt or warp my plastic. So I'm just going to kind of swirl it until it starts to emboss. Okay, gorgeous. Look at that, you guys. So pretty. Okay, so we're going to pop the leaves out of this guy. And we're going to trim this down so that it measures 2 1/4 inches. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. And I want it to measure 2 1/4. Make sure your leaves are on the left side when you're trimming this down. And this is the piece that I was speaking to you about in the first alternate. That's what we are saving to make this here and cut out our pine cones. So make sure you hang on to these. Don't throw them away. Put them in your scrap pile. So we're going to take one of those vanilla pieces and we're just going to center that onto the front of our card. And I'm going to take those foam adhesive strips and I'm going to lay those right next to, but not on top of. We don't want to glue that card down. We just want to put it right next to it. See? And then we're going to grab another strip and we're going to put that, do the same thing on the other side. And make sure that it still slides easily in and out. We're creating the track. So now that we have those strips down, we can take the backing off. I'm going to take some snail. You could use your glue dots as well. Just put it right on the bottom of that piece of vanilla. And then we're going to glue that down to the inside of the card. Just on the one side. You want to make sure that this side is loose. Now we're going to take our leaves and we're going to center that and lay that right down on top of the track that we made. Okay, and now here is where the magic is going to happen. So we want to put our sentiment on this other piece of vanilla. So let's choose what we want to say. Now I used thanks to you last time, but I think I'm going to do thank you on this one. I'm going to use Old Olive for the sentiment on here. So let's ink that up. And I'm going to ink it, I'm going to stamp it kind of off to the right because when we open the magic card, when we pull it out, we're not going to want to pull it out all the way, just a little. Okay, now I have my thank you. I also want to do the little acorns. So I'm going to do the same trick that I did on our first alternate with the two-tone effect. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to ink just the top. Uh-oh, that's okay. I'll cover that up. So I'm going to stamp that little acorn right there. And then I'm going to do one more on the left side. Now, as you can see, I got a little boo-boo on my card, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to ink up the side of my block. And I'm going to add some little splatter marks all around to make it kind of look intentional. Okay, so now I'm going to lay my window sheet over my sentiment. I have stapled those two pieces together and now I'm going to take my label and I'm just going to fold it in half and then I'm going to cut it. Now you could certainly use glue dots for this part as well, but I am going to use the fast fuse because I want a very strong adhesive that is not going to budge. This piece is going to get a lot of yanking and pulling, so make sure that it is very strong. Then we're just going to put that right down and cover that staple. Now, I don't want these little corners to be showing when I pull this in and out, so I'm going to trim those down. So just take your snips and trim it just right about to the edge of this piece. Okay, now to see the magic happen, we're going to slide our vanilla piece behind the vanilla piece on our card and put the window sheet in front of that vanilla piece. Might be a little tricky to get it started, but once you get it, it will slide in and you can see that magic happen instantly. Ooh, isn't that fun? And the last thing to do is just add a few sequins. So I'm just going to sprinkle some onto my work area, grab my fine tip glue pen. You could also use the included glue dots in this month's kit. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of fun all around our card here. And there we go. There is our second alternate card, which is a magic card. Love it. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys, for my Paper Pumpkin October 2016 alternate projects for the Season of Gratitude kit. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to be notified when I upload new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day.